to stage. Well, live and learn. So, for those of you who are just watching the black screen for the last few seconds, bear with me. I've been working all morning on adding StreamYard. I decided that, well, I made a post a couple weeks ago and never bothered to post it because it was very, very crude. Meant to get back to it. It's just been one thing after another for the past few months. But anyway, I finally decided to just break down and go live. Apparently, you guys were talking about it on Dave's chat the other day. John mentioned, why can't I show comments? Uh, it's because I don't use StreamYard, but today I am. Let me just see if I can. And I even have my first poster. It's Sean Innocent says, LOL, he lives. We'll see. Now let's just see if I can actually. Now that didn't do it. I'm going to see if I can bring up the. Holy cow! I can actually bring comments onto the screen. Boy, I'm just learning left and right here. So far it's just Sean and I. Sean, it's so great to have you in the live chat, by the way. Again, I apologize for all the little mishaps. You could call this a shakedown cruise. Someone else is here now. Oh, we have two people in the chat. We do. And it's Cindy D. Hello, everyone. Oh, I'm actually going to do, I'm going to try to get in the habit of posting the comment before I read it. Hopefully, it'll be easier for me to read as well. Hello, everyone listening from work. Oh, Cindy, I'm so glad you could listen. This is a complete and total surprise. Surprise! Keith E's here says, hey, I don't have a life. You don't have a life. Well, Keith, thank you so much for your support. I decided I'm just doing a quick little test post, which actually may be longer than I imagined, because so many people are popping in. I don't even have my Thrash Pondo threads on, but I've been working on StreamYard. John Collins actually asked again, why I can't do the bubble chats. And it's getting ridiculous. I have to be able to do StreamYard. I had signed up for an account. I made a really, really crude test post, which I didn't bother to test. It's even cruder than my original YouTube test post. But anyway, I'm here and I'm working, and we'll see how well this works. Shauna says, Cindy D. Yes, Cindy. Mr. Led is here too. He says, hey, Thrash, what's up? Well, I'm just doing my first StreamYard post, and I'm so glad somebody of you could actually catch me. Number one dude says, good morning, Thrash. I'm with you for a minute before I log in for work. Number one dude, again, I probably won't be on that long, but I'm so glad that you could pop by for my initial StreamYard stream. Sublik says, what is this all about? What's all this then? What's all this then? Well, I'll tell you what, Zuper, we've been talking for months about how I should do StreamYard. Well, I finally got around to actually doing it. And I'm just basically playing with it right now. Keith E says, if your wife and mother leave you unsupervised at the house during the day, this will happen, among many other things. John says, in class, can't talk. John, I more than understand. Thank you very much for stopping by. I've been meaning to call you. It's just been a series of one thing after another's, but I'll try to give you a call this week. I promise. A lot of people having fellowship. Superblick says, hey, T-Puns, if Pat left YouTube, will you soon follow? I'm actually, this is the thing, and it's something that Dave actually talked about the other night. I watched his chat and replay. It's like, I'm doing this for fun and fellowship and laughs. I know a lot of people did it because they wanted to become a career. God knows if I could make some money off this, I happily would. But I'm still doing it just to waste time. So the good news with that is that I have not succumbed to the why can't I make any money at this yet. So I plan on staying here. Keithy says, isn't Denny supposed to be your first video when you when you StreamYard. Um, he doesn't have StreamYard, so my next step is to actually get him on board StreamYard. And I'm just going to skip down a lot of people chatting with amongst each other. Mandy's here says, I really enjoy your channel. Mandy, I'm so glad you do, and I'm so glad you're here. And Mr. Litt says, hey, Sean, I'm getting ready to celebrate my birthday today. Happy birthday, the big 6'8". I don't think I'm behind yet, but if I miss anyone's comments, please, please, please forgive me. Dennis Sama is here. Oh my God. Dennis Sama. How are you doing, bro? Um, I just want if you guys haven't checked out Dennis Sama's channel, and unfortunately I haven't learned how to do links on StreamYard. I guess it's actually easier than YouTube, but you have to check out Dennis Sama's channel. He puts out some amazing short horror films that are very, very innovative and interesting. And I'm so glad to have you on my first StreamYard post. It's a very unpolished test post, so I'm glad everyone's bearing with me. But Dennis, so glad you could make it. And Minnie says, I'm so glad you are here. I'm not sure you're saying that too, but we're all glad to be here. Oh, again, I got to get into the habit of doing this. And Zublick says, hey, T-Pawns, have you spoken to ENC? So bizarre you said that. He came in the literally, not figuratively, literally the last couple of minutes of my Sunday Night Live chat. And I didn't even notice he was there. I was so busy saying my goodbyes. I didn't notice he popped in. I felt terrible. I found out from M later on, actually on Dave's chat and replay. They had come on. So, Mr. ENC, if you're around, if you see this, if you hear this, I did not snub you. I literally didn't know you were there until after I had gone bye bye. And I'm just going to skip down. Oh, look who is here. The entertainment headquarters here and says, morning to all. Entertainment headquarters, morning to you as well. God, what time is it in the UK? Don't tell me. Don't tell me. I'm guessing it's 5 hours difference. Might be 6, but I'm going to go with 5. If it's 11, that would make it, I'm going to say it's 4 o'clock. It might be 5 o'clock your time, but I'm going to say 4 o'clock. And let's just see. Mandy, oh, she's happy that trash is here. Thank you. No one has taken out the trash just as yet. Headquarters says, am currently at work. Thought I would pop in for a second to say hello. This is a very unscripted, totally unscripted, impromptu test post. In fact, a few minutes ago, I wasn't even on the StreamYard platform to do live streams. And so thank you for just happening to be able to pop in. Cindy D says we missed the Three Musketeers, Dave, Thrash, and EMC. I thought you were making a reference to the Richard Lester film that I loved as a kid, the one that had Michael York. And after I met him after all those years and said, I've been a fan of yours since the Three Stooges. Three Stooges, listen to me. Three Musketeers. He's like, yeah, that's Sam. But yes, the Three Stooges. Now, of course, it's more like 5 because we also have Barry, and we also have Pat, and now we also have Retro Nerd Girl, and now we also have Tracy. It's a fellowship of more of a fellow ocean liner. A ship won't be big enough. Keithy says, "Is this a members only stream?" LOL. Actually, no, it's completely public. I haven't figured out how to do members only yet, by the way. And Sean says, uh-oh. Did I lock up already? No, I couldn't have. Oh, no, up there it was. Sean says, test. This is all a test. This is a test of the. Actually, I better not even say that. It might be misinterpreted as an actual test. That reminds me. Did I ever tell you that I have an aunt and uncle who live in Hawaii and they were there when that faux missile attack warning came on? Apparently, they're still not even quite over yet. How do you bounce back from that missile attack? How do you bounce back from that? Crazy. Oh, Jay Z is here. Jay Z is here and says, "Hey, yo, it's 8 a.m. 8 a.m. Oh, because you're on the other side. You know, it's so funny. I always remember people east of me are earlier, but I always forget people west of me are later. I went to call Corey from Corey's Comedy Channel the other day, and one morning when I was getting ready to take my granddaughter to school, and I realized it was like 4 in the morning his time. So yeah, that would have been dumb of me. But anyway, Jay Z, so glad you could be here. Good morning. I'm guessing, well, if it's 8 a.m. your area, you must be California time, Pacific. And Keith E says, "What do you get when you cross a hippopotamus with a kangaroo G?" Kangaroo G, I'm guessing is a kangaroo of the G class variety, and I'm guessing a hopping hooper. Am I somewhere along those lines? Oh, Tracy's here. Tracy is here and says, "Hiya. So glad you could make it. We just gave you a shout out, by the way. This is just, it's, I finally was able to get on board with StreamYard, and I wanted to give it a quick test post. And I'm so glad you could make it. Keithy says you get a stern letter from the ethics committee and you have your funding removed. It's like the old Gilligan's Island routine. You know what happens when you mix bleach and acid? Oh, I already blew the joke. Do you know what you get when you mix bleach and acid? Expelled. Tracy says hello to everyone and hello to you. Hello to you. And Jay Z says, why has Bizarro Superman not had his own movie yet? Because that would be Bizarro. I, I work with what I got. That's what makes it Bizarro, is that we don't have a Bizarro. I used to say to my old roommate, I used to use the term ironic, um, shall we say, out of context, much like the kids do these days, because I don't know what ironic means. So I would use the term ironic, ironically, as one could say, and it drove him nuts. He was a lit major. He goes, "There's no irony there," and I go, "Well, that's the irony, is that I thought there was, and there was not." He never gave it to me. Kid was pedantic. And holy cow, guest of honor. Ian is here and with us. Oh my goodness, he says, "Hi everyone." Ian, I'm so glad you dropped by. This is just a random. It's my first attempt at a live chat on Streamyard. I've been messing around with it and finally decided to go forward. Don't even know why I picked today. I heard you actually dropped by my live stream Sunday night, and I was in the mid wrap up. I didn't even notice you were there because I wasn't even looking at the comments. Please don't consider that a snub. I am so sorry, bro. If I'd known you were there, I would have jumped back in, and well, didn't want to keep Dave waiting, but I would have at least checked. How are you doing, bro? How's everything going? Please, 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 dish. I get the occasional word from you on Facebook. It's not enough. How are you doing, bro? And having pontificated enough, I should skip down to see if you've actually said anything. Tracy says, "Hi, keys to the power of 3. Indy Spouts is here. Says he sort of did Brightburn for the Bizarro Superman. I'll buy that. I'll buy that. Not a big. I haven't really watched it, but you know, I'll defer to your knowledge, as don't I always. Indy, so good to see you here. Sadly, no trivia. This is just my first attempt at a StreamYard live stream. And so far, I think I've got more people on this one than my last one. Oh, actually, no, I can't say that. I had over 22 people last time. It's like 23, 24, and over 1,000 comments. So that was pretty darn good. I see 15 people in the chat, and I can't tell how many likes. So please, everyone, hit those likes. And Mr. Led says, I'm buffering a little. Unfortunately, I think that can't be helped. It's the new platform. Retro says to Tracy, I tried to call you. Oh, that was very nice of you to try to call. Please continue to try to call her. I'm sure she'd love to hear from you. And Tracy said, I will call you. To which Ian replied, awesome. Can I have me on stream? Can I have me on with StreamYard? I assume you were talking to either me or Tracy. Be happy. You can always join me when I figured out how to do that. And I'm sure Tracy would love to have you as her guest. And Keith, he says, the boys from Tennessee are here. Are you back in Tennessee? Hopefully that works out for you. And also, if I read the comment and don't post it, bear with me. I'm still getting. I've been doing those YouTubes where I can. All I do is read them. I can't banner post them. And if I forget now that I can, please bear with me. Oh, Ian says that's okay. Thank you, man. Thank you for letting me off the hook. It's always nice to be let off the hook. And Sean says, "Is there any particular function you want to test, Thrash Bondo Pawns?" Really, I just want to make sure I could do it. And the fact that you guys are here and I can get your comments and comment back, that is a godsend. Tab is here as well, says, "Hello, Thrash, loving the new StreamYard thing." Tab, I'm so glad you're here. Again, this is the funniest thing, is that I'm gonna go on for a few minutes, and maybe one or two people who just happen to be on YouTube will notice. And again, it was like boom, I'm getting all my regulars. And Ian says things are okay. Good to hear it. And keep swinging, my bro. And I'm back in Tennessee for now. Man has plans. It's good. But looking for a job. I might have to go back to Utah though. Good luck to you in whatever you end up doing. And Keith, he says, "I'm kidding, but Lance called and said you were buffering." I'm kidding. Oh, I get it. Yeah. Yeah. The other night, a bunch of people kept saying I was buffering, but other people said I didn't. I'm starting to think maybe it's their technology. God knows that happens enough with me. Oh, and Teb says to Ian, "I missed you so much. We all did. We all did, bro." It says, "Goody, no trivia." Well, I'll have trivia next time, I promise. I'll probably next Sunday's chat will probably be in this format as well. And Sean says to Teb, "Hey, welcome to Improv Tuesday Morning Thrash." And Indy Spout says, "We don't need trivia. Watching you struggle with technology is reward enough for me, Thrash." You know what you should do? Because I never throw anything away. I use Roger Corman's playbook. You should go back and see my first live stream on YouTube. I was like, it was like something out of Tim and Eric's, only with just one of the two. Pick Tim or Eric. There's no wrong answer. Oops, and I jumped. That means you guys are. Oh, Cindy D says, "I love your trivia." Oh, and Retro Seal says, "I can be on your show with StreamYard." I'm sure you can. I'll just have to at some point go back and figure out how to do that. I actually, before I went live, I saw the option, add guest, but I had no guest to add. Retro says, "I had some ideas for new episodes, but I left my recording stuff at home." No worries. There will be more. I promise you. Now, once Luke says, "I can do without trivia," we all know you can. Yet you always play. And Tracy says, "You can be on my StreamYard too, Ian." Oh, that's awesome sauce. Awesome sauce. I was hoping that would be her response. I knew it would be her response, but it's nice to get it official. Mandy says, "Thrash, how was your weather?" It's actually balmy. I just checked. It's over 40 degrees. It's 41 degrees, which is amazing because we were lucky if it was in the low 20s for the last 4 or 5 days. It's been in the teens pretty much since Friday. We're freezing our segundas. And and Ian says, to Tracy, "Okay, are you doing shows now?" She sure is. She's doing amazing shows now. Oh, she says, "I'm trying, LOL." Oh, and you're working on a Tracy says, "I'm working on a project right now for YouTube." You're working on YouTube? Can't wait. Can't wait. And Ziplik says, "Didn't those 900 numbers include?" Yes, they certainly did. Yes, they said, but not all of them were, but they certainly did. That became a joke. It's like, your mother says, "What are these 900 numbers?" On the phone bill. Oh, good times, good times. They have this thing on Facebook now. It's like say things that will confuse the past generation. 900 numbers, I'm sure, is one of them. And Keith E says, I like ironic trivia. Pick the most ironic answer. That actually has become the fun thing to do. If you don't know the answer, pick the stupid selection that I gave as a joke. Personal favorite, when I mentioned the Raquel Welch project, period piece as Little Women. That was an old Benny Hill joke I stole from forever ago. Sean says it's going to be a relatively warm week in New England. Yeah, I know. It might even get close to 50. We're supposed to get some rain. And if we get rain, it means it's a warm front coming in. And that rain will wash away the snow, such as it is. And again, we could see 50 by the end of the week. I believe when I see it, though. Oh, and Cindy said, "Loved your last song video, Ian." Yes, in fact, I left a comment. Hopefully, you saw it. And Zublik says, "I remember ENC's last video with him dancing." Was that the karaoke video? I do remember that one too, but that was a while ago. And Tree says more like 976 numbers. I don't recall the 976. I do remember 900s, but not 976. Um, uh, I'm actually caught up. We'll see how long that lasts. So yeah, like I said, I have absolutely nothing planned. I was thinking about doing. By the way, I want to ask you guys. I know Mandy is a huge fan of Fargo, but I don't know if the rest of you guys are. I was thinking about doing retrospects of the past seasons of Fargo. I don't know if that one would really have teeth because it seems to me, well, first of all, they're all from the past, and even though I do nostalgia on my channel, for those of you who haven't been paying attention, I don't know if I'll get a lot of mileage out of them. What do you guys think? Do you guys think I should give it a crack or not? That's the question of the day. And Retro says, no, I think it was a short of me dancing. Well, there was one where you were doing karaoke, which I thought you were also dancing while singing, and then there was like a little music video you did. It was like a solo. It was just you recording by yourself, which actually had music in it too. So, but there was no dancing in that one. Indy Spout says it's a reference to the film 976. 976 Evil. Quite possibly. Quite possibly. But again, you're never quite sure. Again, there was a lot of water under the bridge. There may have actually been a whole subgroup of 976 numbers. And Cindy says, well, that's the last one I saw. I liked it. And Keith says, I think you should do reviews of the top 50 movies ever. 50? 50? If I'm going to go back to 50s, I should probably do my 50 features of creatures. I made one of these. It was very well received. Never got back to it. I even made a playlist, though, so I could add them as I went. And every now and then I get people saying, "One, did you ever pick up with the 50 creature features?" You know what? I really should. But if you want best movies ever, I could do that. I don't know if I'll ever get to 50. I should live so long. Cindy says, I don't care for Fargo. It's weird. Opinion is divided. Either you watch the show and you love it, or you have no interest in it. I've never met a single person who said, "Oh, that Fargo is good. I can take it or leave it." No, either like my wife. My wife won't watch it. My wife will leave the room if I have it on. It's not that she hates it; she just finds no entertainment value out of it. But the people who are fans love it. Let's just see. Ian says, I saw the movie. It was is it based on that? Yes. Yeah, Fargo, duh. Of course. It took me a second. I'm like 976 Evil? No. Yes, Fargo. Loosely. loosely. I'll make a real long story short. Okay, the 1996 movie came out and it was great. They've done now five uh TV seasons. Each season is microcosmic. They're standalone, so you don't have to watch them in order. And each of them takes place in different decades, but they're all somehow linked together. And half the fun is watching it and finding the connections. Zuperblick says, I don't subscribe to Fargo. Sorry. And Shauna says, hard to say. I'm late to the game and now stuck on season 3, episode 1. It's a weird feeling with Ewan playing brothers. I got into season 1 and 2 quicker. You know, you're right. There's something odd about this third season. When I got into it, I liked it, but I it had like a very false start feel to it. I found it much more interesting the subplot with the missing science fiction author who writes the weird science fiction cult novel. That is like far more satisfying than the weird thing with the brothers and the Eastern Mafia. And Teresa is just hoping to be at work again, crossing my fingers. Good luck to you, my lady. So good luck to you. Keithy says, everything I know about Fargo, I've heard from you. Oh, and Tracy says, how many seasons of Fargo are there? There's currently 5. The first one is about this very meek insurance salesman who cross paths with a professional killer, a really slick professional killer, and hilarity ensues. Second one is my second favorite. That's about a turf war between a local family of gangsters in the Minnesota area and the Kansas City Mafia, as they're called. Third season also involves organized crime, but has a subplot involving a science fiction author who wrote one book and then disappeared, and this one police officer trying to uncover the story. 4 is a lot of gangsters in this. As I say it, a lot of gangsters. 4 is about a turf war in the 1940s, early 50s area, uh, between a Italian and a black crime syndicate, um, and all which are very, very good. If you can get into them. And Teb says the last season of Fargo was meh. I still hope it would get all the Emmy love later this year. It's funny. I actually, in my opinion, season 5 was my favorite, but there were I noticed a number of people who just didn't like it for whatever reason. Probably because it got political, and Fargo tends to stay away from politics. Social injustices, maybe, but politics, and this one got specifically political. And Indy says, I remember coming out of the theater and liking Fargo, but for the life of me, couldn't figure out why. Probably a friend McDormand. She is one of the most approachable, captivating, interesting character do that, but I wish they would. Mandy on Team Bob here says Fargo is fantastic. Especially the past seasons, surprisingly. Oh, look who's here! Daryl Johnson's here. He says, Bob, other brother, how are you doing, my man? So good to see you. I'm going to repeat myself just to get you up to speed. Sorry, everyone else has already heard this. Finally was able to iron out my kinks with StreamYard. Decided to go ahead and do a quick test live stream with the StreamYard format so I can actually bring in a guest next time. So forgive me if no one got the message that this thing was happening. It just happened. But I'm so glad you could make it. And Sean says, I know I'm peripherally aware of John Hamm and Juno Temple in season 5. I like Juno in The Offer and Ted Lasso. It's funny, I never saw The Offer. I was completely and totally not blindsided, but unfamiliar with Juno Temple. I thought Juno Temple was an Alaskan cult. I'm sorry, nothing. But I think she's an amazing actress and want to see her in more. By the way, is it me or does she look like a Skeksis? Oh, did I say Skeksis? Ooh, bad bump, bad bump, terrible, terrible. Not a Skeksis. That was a Gelfling. Is it me? Which some people say might be just as bad, but no, I think she looks like a Gelfling. Anyone else think so? Please say, and please forgive the Skeksis misspeaking. Keithy says Terrell is everywhere, but your problem with Surrey continues. I couldn't have said it better myself. And Shauna says, "Hey, Daryl Johnson, welcome to the Flash Mob Party." Yes. Oh, and Daryl's saying, "Sorry for something. Um, whatever it is, consider yourself forgiven." And Tracy says, I have a lot to catch up on. In Fargo, yeah, you sure would. But it's a very bingeable show once you get into it. Daryl Jones says, You're breaking up, Bob. It's breaking up. He's breaking up. Steve Austin. We can rebuild him. Zublik says, Do any of the seasons, like the movie, not situated in Fargo, North Dakota? Some of them move around a bit. I believe they mostly take place in Minnesota. Some go to Fargo in North Dakota, Fargo specifically, for one reason or another. Fargo seems to be the happening spot. It's sort of the Tatooine of the series, but most of the characters reside in Minnesota. There is a lot that takes place in Kansas City because the Kansas City Mafia is a thing in the show. And Keithy says the butcher who backed into the meat grinder got a little behind in his work. Yes, he's taken a turn for the worst, I've heard. It reminds me of my days working in the pulled pork factory. It was a crushing bore. And Daryl Jones says, Reacher is better. I've only seen Reacher in little blurbs on YouTube. I got to tell you, Reacher, oh, what was it? Savage Tales? There was this, it was more than a comic book. It was like an action magazine, mostly post apocalyptic stuff, World War III and that type of thing. But it had other stuff as well. It was called Savage Stories or Savage Tales, something like that. And Reacher is the clone of this character in Savage Tales, to the point where I think maybe the guy who did the show was a fan of this magazine as well. And I can't remember the character's name to save my life. I might have to dig through my comic collection and find a copy or two. That might make a cool wretched recap. Wretched, I can want to say creepy classic, but it's not a creepy, although it is a classic. Oh, and Zublik says, "There goes the buff." Oh, there goes the buffering. I guess I'm buffering in a few places there. Apologies, folks. And Keithy says, here in Tennessee, the connection always stink, but it'll never seem to be the buffering with Thresh. Oh, well, that's good. Tracy says, what's a Skeksis? The Dark Crystal. One of my favorite high concept sci-fi movies as a kid. It's actually in the Guinness Book of World Records. It's the only feature-length film with no mention of Earth or humans. Some movies have Earth but no humans, like the Lion King. Some have humans and no Earth, see under Star Wars. But it's a completely and totally alien concept. And the Skeksis are they're the ruling class, and they kind of look like um, big vulture-like creatures. Um, and Daryl says, I think he meant Skag. Is Skag the non-plural of Skexy? And Sean Innes says, Skexy, Gelfling, I'm not following, but I'm intrigued, maybe. Okay, for those of you not up to speed, I sometimes you'll forgive me. Sometimes I forget not everyone is as much of a science fiction buff as I am. A thousand apologies. Um, Check out The Dark Crystal. There was actually a TV series on Netflix, or the feature film. You don't have to watch the whole thing, but I'm sure there's chunks of it and reviews of it on YouTube. Check it out. But check out Juno Temple, and then check out the Gelfling, specifically the female one, whose name eludes me for the moment because I didn't realize I was going to have to do a breakdown of the Dark Crystal. So take my word for it. But yeah, the Gelflings are the race that were exploited by the Skeksis, and now only a few of them remain. But the prophecy is that a Gelfling will save everything, which is part of the reason they were exploited to extinction by the. It's really cool, and I'm doing a terrible job explaining it only because I didn't intend to. But you know what? I should do a review of the Dark Crystal. I should, shouldn't I? Well, you guys all have to watch it first. Anyway, moving forward. Keithy says Cooper says he's too sexy for this chat. Oh, I'm too sexy for this chat. Too sexy for this chat. I'll wear a Pickle Rick hat. Zublik says that is just like the movie. It is. Sean says one GIS later. Oh, Dark Crystal. So it dawned on Sean. It dawned on Sean. Excellent. Zublik says Skexy, Shank, and Sexy. Are we just doing word association now? Keith, he says, "Where's Danny?" Danny's kind of had his hands full lately. The poor guy. I texted him this morning when I first did StreamYard. I thought I could actually make it a multi-platform thing. He didn't have StreamYard. If I'd known Ian, if I'd known you were around, I would have contacted you first. But and of course, there. Oldbook says we do need more wretched recap. If I remember, Superplex, you loved that format. If I remember. The last one I did, it got like 0 views, and I felt so bad because John Doe, it was one of the comics that he sent me, and I felt so bad, and then he got snubbed on a chat. It's this whole drama thing. By the way, John Doe, if you're watching in replay, every now and then you pop by. We love having you. Please don't be such a stranger. And Retro said, "Who else is in Tennessee?" Oh, I'm in Tennessee because all my exes live in Texas. 3, 2. Zuplex, of course, is from Puerto Rico. And thank you. How did I not know that Indy would know this? Kira. Kira is the female and surprisingly hot Gelfling. I'm sorry, I was a teenage boy when I saw it, but yes, Kira is she's the female. And Teb says, in Return to Oz. Oh, I'm sorry. Is Return to Oz considered to be the darkest take on Wizard of Oz? To my knowledge, in fact, I've seen many. I don't remember it, to be honest with you. Honest to God, I don't remember it. I could have sworn I saw it, but I have maybe I blocked it out as a kid. But all the reviews on YouTube says it is the darkest. Of course, my understanding is the Frank Baum stories could get pretty dark. Did I ever tell you guys? If I ever get Hollywood level funding to make a movie, I Should Live So Long. I want to do a post-apocalyptic. That's one of the reasons why I liked Fargo, by the way. It was a Wizard of Oz theme. I want to do a post-apocalyptic take on the Wizard of Oz. Dorothy came from a survivalist camp, which is overrun by whatever. And she and her guard dog go on the road, and she runs into three people who try to help her out. A Tin Man, which is a former riot control cop during the extinction event, has no ammunition now, so now arms himself with an axe. But get it, Tin Man cop. Uh, Scarecrow, guy's been living on his own to the point where he's like emaciated and wearing very shabby clothing because he's had to like piecemeal his outfit, but becomes one of her protectors. And a Cowardly Lion, who's just a guy who kind of went feral and has a big bushy beard and long hair. And they fight various post-apocalyptic things in this post-apocalyptic Oz. And Keith says, I'll come in again. I think just me. I've never run across anybody else other than you in Tennessee. And Retro says, where are you at? I am in Smyrna. That sounds like a malt beverage. And Keith E says, Maryville, Tennessee, next door to Alcoa, and Knoxville. And Zubik says, weren't the Guelphs the rival family to the Medicis? That is the oh no, it was the Pitti family were the rivals of the Medicis because you had the Pitti Palace and the Medicis, um, and you had the Borgias in there too, and wow, I actually was in Italy studying Renaissance art and architecture, but that was in the 80s. I was so unprepared. I'm actually less prepared to talk about the Medici and the warring states in Italy than I am about Dark Crystal. But there may have been Guelphs in there somewhere. And Keith E says, Z, I think you melted the woman's hearts by showing your mother on Dave Speed. Oh, you did actually. That was very very kind of you. She seemed like a lovely woman, but that was very kind of you to take care of your mom. Of course, as you know, Mama Thrash now lives with us and has for some years now. But she does not need anywhere near the care your mom does. So I can't claim to empathize wherever you speak. But isn't it nice when us sons do take care of our moms, or at least are there for her as much as we feel like. Zubik says, I would like to see Dorothy go full Rambo on the Flying Monkeys. She'd have an M16 in my universe. Zublik says to Keith, how? And Keith says, just that you are helping your mother seems to be very important to me as well as others. Yes, it certainly did. And Indy Spout says, the Ghouls were opposed to the uh, I'm going to butcher this one. Sorry. Gibellians in Bologna. My Bologna. Indy, apparently you know more about Renaissance Italy than I do, but what else is new? You know more about everything else than I do. Look who is here. Look who's here. Danny. Danny Staten is here. Danny, how are you doing, my brother? Welcome to long story short, because I've already explained it on several occasions. I've been messing around with StreamYard, finally had a chance to go live, decided no better time like the president, only because I've been promising you for over a year, probably closer to two, that I would actually get up on StreamYard so we could finally do our Bigfoot and Wild Boy extravaganza, which has already been done, but we'll figure something out. Also been promising Dave. Now, if I could just, dudes, guys, I signed up like a couple of months ago to do the Thrash Pondo, which I'm not wearing, the Thrash Pondo shirts on Spring. Went to follow up, they're not there. Tried to do it again, there's some problem with my art. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I will have my t-shirts up and available very, 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 very soon, or die in the attempt. Entry says, "I agree, Zuper. It would be funny with the monkeys." Um, I wanted to have the monkeys be something like some kind of biker gang, like they did in the No Blade of Grass. But then I'm like, that's kind of what the flying monkeys were in the Wiz, which I love. Don't get me wrong; those are my favorite parts. But again, I'm trying to do I'm trying to do an homage and not be derivative, and that's really, really difficult. But since I'll never get the funding, it doesn't really matter. But you know what? Flying Monkeys may end up being the name of the biker gang who Dorothy takes out. Uh, Zubel says, not intentional, Keith. Well, intentional or not, Dave, we all think you're a good son. And Danny Skaten says, quick, everything you know about Adam 12. Okay, Adam 12 was a cop show from the early 70s starring Martin Miller and Kent McCord as a veteran police officer in the LAPD training a new professional, but young rookie, and the adventures they have. Much like Dragnet, the actual stories for the scripts were actual police engagements with various police calls. The names were always changed to protect the innocent, and I'm sure a lot was added in the name of drama. There were many I would say not superfluous supplemental characters, one of whom was one of the Crosby kids, played another cop as well, and the chemistry between Miller and McCord was excellent, and it was a great show. I believe it also took place in the emergency universe. So if you're a fan of the show Emergency, it fitted nicely. Young actress had a crush on at the time. Kathy Coleman had a walk on, a small part in one episode, and you never actually see the dispatcher. It's sort of like in MASH, where that voice here in the beginning, 1 Adam 12, 1 Adam 12, 211 in progress. You never actually see her, but it's my understanding she actually was a retired police dispatcher. And that's all I know about Adam 12. I'll probably remember something later on, but for the moment, that's as good as we can get. And Indy Spout says it wasn't as good as Emergency. How could it be? How could it be? Emergency was amazing. Oh, Danny, thank you. Danny's giving us links. Please give us as many links as you possibly can. I think some of the people with channels have already booted, but that's very, very kind of you. And Keithy says, Danny, I don't usually say hello to you, but I'm saying hello to you today. That's very nice. A lot of people are actually saying hello to Danny. And Zibli says, I knew the Guelphs house somehow to the Renaissance Italy. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong, but I'm glad we could all come to that conclusion. Cindy says, do what you can to help your parents. One day they will be gone and you'll be glad you did. That's what happened to me. Thank you. Thank you. And we're very sorry for your loss, says Cindy. Denny says, I just say hello to all. You certainly do. And consider hello back. Daryl Johnson says, Dragnet was better. Dragnet is possibly, in my opinion, the best cop show of all time. I know I say my favorite one is Hill Street Blues, but if you want to talk about just great TV drama, I gotta go with Dragnet. Friday is the TV cop. He certainly is. Andy says I prefer the Black Widow from Every Which Way But Loose. I haven't seen that film since I was in middle school, so I'll have to take your word for it. Cindy says, cry me A River Over You by Julie London. Look who's here. Look who is here. House of Alex says, hey everyone. House of Alex, it's so funny. Have a new friend of channel by the name of Banjo Sandwich. He was asking if I had any other friends from the U of K, and I dropped your name. But anyway, maybe Banjo Sandwich will check you out. But of course, please feel free to check out Banjo Sandwich if you get a chance. And again, Dan, if you could drop a link. But House of Alex, so glad you are here. And Zublik says, you should do what you can to help your family given your circumstances. And when you meet your maker, you can say you did the best that you could. That's my plan. Oh, Brogu is here. Says hello, everyone. Brogu said, so glad you did make it to my Shakedown StreamYard live stream, which is completely and totally unscripted. And Tracy goes on to say, I saw Adam 12 with the guy who played Greg Brady, Barry Williams, and I saw David Cassidy in another one. I remember both of them. I can't remember the context. I do remember both of them being on it. Mickey Dolenz plays a hippie motorcycle gang member in one as well. And Tony Dow plays a young Marine who gets his car stolen. And Brogu says, hello, Thrash. Oh my God, look who is here. Tug says, oh, hello there. Hello to you too, Tug. This is my Shakedown StreamYard live chat. It was completely unscripted. No one knew about it. I didn't know I was going to do it until I actually had the opportunity to go live and actually give it a shot. Oh, and by the way, love on Facebook the other day. You did that joke about Robert Frost. Love it. And I'm so far behind, so I think I'm going to try to catch up. If I miss anyone, please forgive me. Brogu says, this is a pleasant surprise. Thrash, Tuesday morning delight. We certainly try. Indy Spout says, shouldn't you be slaving away on Soviet psychological regret films, Tug? Ooh, I'm trying to think what that could be. By the way, again, I love the last Twilight Zone you did. I haven't seen the newest one. I do watch your Twilight Zone reviews and your other stuff on the early access, but for some reason I can't comment there. I'm not sure why, but I do watch them. And thank you. You know that one actually with Kevin McCarthy. I meant to mention the other day, but I was getting so sidetracked. You guys gave me over like 1,100 comments from Sunday night. But the Kevin McCarthy one, that's actually the first Twilight Zone I saw in full length when I was a kid. And actually, I'm not that far behind because I'm actually caught up. If I did miss anybody, I do apologize. And Tug says, oh, I am. Indeed, I am deep in it. Curiosity says, don't feel guilty, Tracy. They probably won't want you to. Not sure what that's in context to, but I'm sure whatever, it's fine. And Tracy said, I love Dolenz. How could you not? And Doug says, that's good to know, Keith. I'm not sure what is good to know, but I'm sure whatever it is, it is. And Ian is our guest of honor today. Ian is back today, and he says, hi to all you I have not met yet. Yes, Ian, as I'm sure virtual of you know, but some of the newer friends to my channel will know, is Ian and I, for what, about 2 years, we're doing these collaboration videos, and we would do live chats, and we'd do compare and contrasts. In fact, I was just talking about one the other day. It was All Quiet on the Western Front, where we compared the two movies and the book. Someone was asking me about it. Oh, Denny, thank you for the link. I really appreciate that. Links, I should say. And Zubik says, Dolan's the last surviving monkey. Yes, he is. And do you want to hear something really, really creepy? They actually have this on YouTube. It's a blurb they were doing. They were stuck in a haunted house, and Davy was captured by something, and then Peter, and it's Mickey and Mike, and Mickey in this very agitated manner says, "First we lost Davy, and then we lost Peter, and if we lose you, it'll just be me. Hey, hey, I'm the monkey. People say I monkey you around." Now, the really terrifying thing is that is actually the order in which the monkeys were lost. First we lost Davy Jones, then Peter Tork, and most recently Mike Nesmith. So, isn't that crazy? Oh, and this is the most unprofessional thing I think I've ever done. Oh, it's just Mama Thrash speaking of my mother. Just checking to see if the guy came to do the workout. Said, make a really long story short, I had this redoing my door, my screen door, and I have had what I can describe as a lot of headaches. The contractor, friend of the bartender I work with, can do it, but the doors were on back order, supply problems. They finally got it. Home Depot got it. They got it damaged. Got to send it back. By the time that door's fixed, it'll be spring, I'm guessing. Um, Super nice guy, cutting him all the slack because I understand none of this is his fault. But a woodpecker actually ate a hole in my house, put a nest in it. Um, One of the guys who works for him is supposed to come by and patch the hole. And I actually called him earlier texted him earlier to see when he was coming by. Haven't heard back, and that was Mama Thrash saying, "Have you seen the guy yet?" And I have not. And can't believe I just bored you with that whole life story. But anyway, this and other adventures you find in the days of our thrash. And Zuplik says that would be super cool. Ian and T Pons, the dream team reunited. I couldn't agree with you more. Couldn't agree with you more. And Indy's Bout says Mickey's career as a circus boy has led to his longevity, I'm sure. Explain the logic underlying that conclusion, please. And Cindy D says, don't forget about us old people here too. Oh, Cindy, you're not old. And the book says, so Indy being a carny leads to longevity. More circus boy than carny. Uh, Circuses present acts. Carnivals present rides. Slight distinction. And Tracy says, not too kind, Woody. Not too kind, Woody. Oh, not too kind, Woody. Indeed. And he says it does if you don't eat the food. I know circuses are always horrible, horrible. Do they even have circuses anymore? I mean, I'm not counting Cirque du Soleil. I mean, that's live theater and it's great, but I mean, I don't think they do circuses anymore because you're not supposed to present animals for entertainment purposes. Like in aquariums where it's entertainment porpoises. Oh, Superplex. Just don't drink the Kool-Aid. Ew. And he's about says Mickey was in Circus Boy with Noah Barry Jr. Did not know that. I knew he did the show called Circus Boy. In fact, there's an episode of the Monkees where when they join the circus, where he actually sings the theme song. And Tracy says, I got it. I'm sorry. Sean says, got it, Tracy, to Tracy. And Tug says, gobble, gobble, which and a gobble, gobble to you too. Gobble, 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 gobble. We accept her. We accept her. Finally dawned on me. Freaks, the circus performers got it. Got it. Thank you. Wow. I'm actually surprised. Like, I'm impressed with myself. And Ian says, don't, no donkeys jumping off high dive anymore. I know. Indeed. Indeed. And Tug says, nothing because I missed it. It was Flavor Aid. Kool-Aid has been slandered for decades. Oh my gosh, Emily is here. Says, "Well, hey y'all, hey y'all to you too." By the way, I'm going to explain. How many times have I explained this? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Um, Long story short, I've been like tweaking. I've been trying to get up and going on Streamyard, as you know, forever. Finally, thought I had all my ducks in a row. Ducks in a row. Streamyard. See what I did there? And I decided to do a quick live stream on Streamyard just to see if I could do it, and I did. And I'm so glad you could make it. Zubik says in that episode, Mickey admits to being in a circus. Well, yeah, but he's also like, yeah, I know that song from somewhere. It's driving me nuts. I can't quite place it. And House of Alex says to Danny, so you ever watch the Wrestle Talk news channel just out of interest? Daryl Johnson says, Tracy, you got a dirty mind. Woody Woodpecker. Oh, I got it now. Now I'm with you. Now I'm with you. And Zublik says, yeah, I know the unapologetic, but the joke is Kool-Aid. Yes, it is. And Danny's given us another link. Thank you so much. Several of them, it seems. A lot of people saying hi to one another. And Eddie Spout says, it won't stick, Tug. I've corrected people on Kool-Aid since the 80s. And what time? We're getting towards noon. I have to. You got here so late. I have to give her some more cred here. Emily says, "I'm glad you figured out Streamyard. I'm guessing it's one word. Uh, I've seen both, and when you log in with either, it goes straight to it. But yes, I've finally figured out my Streamyard, at least as yet, at least obviously, and I'm going to my next Sunday live chat will of course also be on Streamyard. But in any event, like I said, this was just a test. In fact, I didn't even think I was going to get any viewers today. I've actually gotten a bunch, and I have had from the get go. Oh, and by the way, thank you, Sean. And the first 20 or 30 seconds was blank. So I applaud your perseverance because I couldn't quite figure out how to get the camera to work. It was on and running, but I had to. There's some command you have to give it or it won't go in. Anyway, this was a shakedown cruise. Oh, Zuplex says, let's quiz T-Pawns on Renaissance history. He was a history major after all. European history, as it were. European history. Oh, and Daryl has an excellent idea. Have a quiz on Fargo. I love it. I love it. But our people would be trashed because most of them don't like, or at least don't watch Fargo. Anyway, sorry. Gonna wrap things up. It's almost noon. I have to be out of the house by 1 to pick up number one granddaughter. And I have a whole bunch of stuff I haven't started to do. Like I said, originally, this is just going to be a quick little 10-15 minute thing. I think I've been on for about 3/4 of an hour, give or take. But anyway, I want to thank you guys so much for showing up. This was so much fun. I'm so glad to finally be on StreamYard, get the word out, tell everyone that Bob is finally on StreamYard. And if I could just figure out how to get my t shirts on Spring, which I've tried on at least 2 occasions. One was a follow up, so I really can't count that. But anyway, on at least 2 occasions. Anyway, I got a motor, and Teb, remember, save that Star Wars question for next time. We will use it. And I promise you, we will have early Fox TV trivia on the Sundays stream, which will be on StreamYard. It'll be on YouTube, but I'm going to use the StreamYard format, and it'll be Sunday night as always. Anyway, until then, be good, be safe, be careful. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all again very, 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 very soon. And Ian, it is so nice having you back with us. Peace.